Now, this year is expected to usher in a new level of urgency to act on climate change. That's according to Power for All's top trends for 2022. This is combined with the last 2 years of extreme weather conditions. At the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, developed nations yet again fell short of meeting the deadline of mobilizing $100 billion by 2020 to support developing nations to cope with climate change. They instead shifted the deadline to 2023. However, pledges to stop the financing of international fossil fuel projects and to quit coal were pretty welcome developments. If implemented, these pledges will drive demand for faster scaling and a faster adoption of renewable energy technologies. Now, of course, this was all part of a report from Power for Oil highlighting the trends in the decentralized renewable energy sector going forward. Well, what can we expect from that sector this year? We're joined by Brian Kawuma. He is a Powering Agriculture Director for Power for Oil, joining us there in Uganda. Great to have you with us on the show, sir. Now, of course, looking at that report, one of the top trends you expect for this year is that decentralized renewable energy businesses, especially the ones in these small and medium enterprises, they'll start getting easier access to finance. Now, that's one of the biggest challenges for SMEs in Africa. Take me through the setbacks that SMEs in Uganda in this space face currently, especially when we talk about this particular technology. And where do you see the funding coming from going forward?
Yeah, thank you. And I'm very glad to be on CGTN. I work for Power for All, as has been mentioned, as the director for Powering Agriculture campaign. Back to the trends and regarding the challenge of financing for SMEs that are engaged in agriculture, I think first of all, it's important to realize that agriculture as an enterprise is seasonal in nature. So any business that relies on agriculture is hampered by that seasonality. Yeah. So we see SMEs that, for instance, rely on produce from farmers having gluts and also shortages because the farmers cannot produce all year round. Now that's one challenge. The other challenge is the fact that the lending institutions are yet to tailor products that will meet seasonality in payment. If I'm lending you 100 million shillings, I expect you to be paying back on a monthly basis. So for anyone that's engaged in agriculture, many of them are finding it a challenge because of the seasonality in how the money comes in. The other issue that we see around access to finance, I think, is birthed by awareness or the lack of it. On one end, the lending institutions are not largely aware of decentralized renewable energy solutions and how they apply in the agriculture sector. But also on the other hand, the farmers or the end users of this technology are not aware of the product offerings that may exist in some of the lending institutions. So there's really a need to bridge this gap, bring both parties to the table and have them conduct a conversation on knowing what is available, but also what opportunities that the lending institutions can harness in the agriculture sector.
Yeah. Well, there are countries across Africa that are now finding a way to channel financing to this particular sector. We talk about Rwanda, South Africa. They're making major moves in boosting financing. In Uganda, specifically, we know there are initiatives that will be rolling out soon, and they'll be rolling out guidelines for green financing, specifically for decentralized renewable energy projects. Now, give us some insight into those initiatives and any updates on that.
Yeah, thank you. I'll start with the post-26 view of things. After COP26, of course, we heard that big corporations, big enterprises are pledging to contribute towards, a cleaner energy transition. So we saw the Rockefeller Foundation and its partners pledge to contribute close to $10 billion US dollars towards innovation in the renewable energy space. That already is a welcome gesture, because it is showing that global enterprises and people that matter across this world are seeing the opportunities that renewable energy presents in ending, first of all, energy poverty, but also achieving cleaner climate globally. In Uganda, maybe what I can speak about is we're seeing an emerging role of development partners that are, first of all, mobilizing funding towards green climate, green financing of agriculture enterprises. I can speak about that the initiative by, first of all, the European Union towards accelerating finance to greening up enterprises, SMEs in Uganda, but also we've heard of the Green Climate Fund, which is really a global initiative of which Uganda subscribes. There's money that is available, provided that the criteria that is set is met. So opportunities are opening up to green up the way business is being done. And I think the gap that still exists is creating awareness about these opportunities. And that is one of the things that Power for All does best.
And as you mentioned, this technology, which is, of course, decentralized renewable energy, it will be key in Africa's push towards cleaner energy resources going forward. Now, Power for All specifically says that it is looking to strengthen the link between agriculture, food systems, and rural electrification. How so?
Well, I'll start with rural electrification. One thing we've noticed from our research is the way energy access is being extended in most parts of sub-Saharan Africa may not achieve universal access to energy fast enough, because the model that most of the countries in this region are going for is using a central utility. But we also know that the central utility can only go so far because of the economic or business considerations that come with it. Thankfully, there are many grid companies that are setting up in the hard-to-reach areas of rural Africa. And through these decentralized renewable energy solutions, they've been able to achieve energy access for most of the dwellers in these communities. So being able to link what the central utility is doing with what the mini grid companies are doing, I think will be not a silver bullet, but a more powerful way of achieving energy poverty faster. So that is on the part of rural electrification. Now I bring in the food systems. Agriculture, like we know it, is the mainstay for the majority of households in sub-Saharan Africa. But not many of them earn enough from it to be able to sustainably grow their income. So through our research at Power for All, we discover that mechanization of agriculture is a sure way of increasing productivity. Mm-hmm. But how do you mechanize? You need energy. So that is where the decentralized renewable energy solutions come in, because the way mechanization is being done for those that are doing it is dependent on fossil fuels. And since we're going for a clean energy transition, our research has proven that there are solutions within the decentralized renewable energy industry that can help accelerate, mechanization of agriculture, but also in a sustainable way. That's why we're trying as much as possible to link the food systems to electrification, but also doing it in a clean and a just manner.
Well, we'll certainly be watching that sector quite closely. Many thanks. We do have to leave it there, Mr. Kawuma. That was Brian Kawuma, Powering Agriculture Director for Power for All.